Randall 321 asks for all the drivers. It's the 10th anniversary of 9/11. Do you remember where you were, and do you have anything on your cars this weekend to commemorate it?
I know where I was. I think it was seventh grade. I was getting ready for a football game. We had a football game that night, or supposed to, and when we heard the news, obviously you watched it on TV, and then went home and turned the TV on and watched it all night. And we got Fastenal in our car this weekend, and we got the Stevens Siller Foundation on there, and they got the Flight 93 on our car, remembering the Flight 93. So it's a really cool paint scheme, really good calls, and we're hoping to put it in Victory Lane.
Right.
I was the same as him. I was in school. I think I was in ninth grade, somewhere close to that. If you're in seventh, I think this makes sense.
Elliot, where were you? He's like,
You ain't got to me yet. Y'all finished.
So, actually, the school I went to was really close to the Atlanta airport, it's within a mile or so. So they actually sent most everybody home, just because nobody knew what was going on with airplanes and stuff like that. So that was not a fun time for anybody. And we don't have anything on our car this weekend, but it's good to see other cars in the garage, like Ricky's car and a few other cars in the garage. And the NASCAR community usually does a great job with things like this and remembering all the people who were heroes that day and stuff like that. So it'll be a big weekend for NASCAR.
I had graduated high school the year before, and I had just started college, but I was also working part-time at an engine shop called Esslinger Engineering. They built the engines for my sprint cars. So I was actually on my way to work there, and I remember hearing on the radio. But I didn't really understand the scope of what had happened, even being the age that I was. I didn't understand what was going on, really. Well, no one really knew for a while, and really what had happened and what was going on. So I just remember hearing about it on the radio and then kind of digging into it because I wanted to know what was going on with everything.
I was driving for the Wood Brothers at the time, the 21 car, and I was actually asleep at Eddie Wood's house. And they called me from the shop that morning and told me to turn on the TV that somebody had run into one of the buildings. And actually when we turned it on and I hauled butt to the shop to see kind of what was going on, and we actually watched it live when the second plane hit, and it was just it was surreal for us because at the time we were part of the U.S. Air Force, and they were a sponsor on our car. So I remember going to Dover, and that's when they were bringing a lot of bodies and stuff too, and doing a lot of testing and finding out who was who in the whole 9 yards, and we were kind of a part of that at Dover. And it was a weird weekend when we went up there for that race that weekend. I remember we took all the sponsorship off the car and just put a huge American flag on the front of it. And that was one of those things, like you said, you remember exactly what you were doing and what time of day it was and what was happening. And I just remember going back to the racetrack for the first time, all the fans with all the American flags, and it was so patriotic in Dover, and everybody did a good job for when we came there for the first time after it had happened. But
yeah, that Dover race was really emotional.
It was very emotional for a lot of people, and I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. actually won that race that day, and he had a huge American flag that he was toting around in his car and stuff afterwards, and I think it was pretty neat for all the fans too. So it was it's one of those times that definitely stands still, in your head.
Elliot, apparently those are great answers, by the way, for all of you. It's kind of interesting to think about the wide difference in ages, especially when you bring me into the mix. But that certainly was an emotional day for everybody. Angela R. Nichols loves your boots, Elliot.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
And she wants to know where she can get a pair of those.
Corralboots.com. That's where I go get them. They're very they're comfortable boots, very inexpensive boots. They got all kinds of different kinds you can get. So
yeah, what are those things
I
made
like
out of?
shopping online. They're just regular leather. They just got cool design on them.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Gibbs fan 57 is asking all the drivers, what kind of track suits your driving style the best?
Man, I don't know. I like them all. We obviously our two ends were at Iowa. Similar, more of a short track type racetrack, and it seems like we've ran really well at the short tracks this year for our team, and But I'm more, I like Atlanta, where the tires wear out and you slide around a lot. But I guess those are the two kind of racetracks that I like.
Yeah, I mean it changes a lot sometimes year to year. There'll be places that you think you really like because you run good there, and you might go there the next time and not like it as much. But Dover is probably one of my favorite racetracks. I like it just because it drives like a short track the way it drives, but it's really, really fast. And, a lot of banking. And it's not really even like a short track. It's just something different than what we're all used to growing up. And it's not like a mile and a half, but you can definitely feel the speed there. So that's probably one of my favorite racetracks. But just like most of us, we grew up running short tracks, so it's nice to come to a place like Richmond and kind of get back to your roots. But, pretty much got to like all of them because we run so many different racetracks.
Josh?
I think everyone probably likes where they have a good car at. Would be like anytime you got a good car, it's like, oh, this is my favorite place now. But I think I like Atlanta probably if I had to pick a track, like one track, like Ricky said, the tires wear out a bunch there, the car slides around. It's like, it's like the fastest mile and a half we go to almost, and then it almost becomes the slowest mile and a half we go to because the tires wear out so much and the cars are sliding around, and you can run up by the wall, you can run right down on the bottom and move around. So that'd be my pick.
I like a lot of the mile and a halves. I like Charlotte and Chicago and Kansas, Texas, those kind of racetracks. I just seem to fit my driving style pretty well. I've always had a special feeling for Bristol. I used to go there as a kid and watch races, and then be able to come back there years later and get some wins there in the Nationwide Series and the Cup Series is pretty special. So the old Bristol was really fun. The new Bristol still has a lot of excitement stuff to it, but those are the kind of tracks I really like and enjoy going to.
Austin Roper wants to ask Reed, out of all the races this year, which one has been your favorite? Well, probably the one you won, right?
Yeah, that was the most fun. That was a cool race because the trophy was a lot different. Where there was a trophy, and then there was a Harley Davidson they gave away too. So.
Did you get the Harley?
Yeah, I didn't get a trophy, but I got the Harley. The trophy's like we were looking into making another trophy, and I'm not sure what the heck this thing's made out of, but it's $8,000 to get a trophy made. So I'm not getting a trophy, but I got a Harley.
That's about how much those boots cost, probably.
I don't know, but maybe if we win this tonight, I can get one of his
pretty
made.
cool trophy.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's probably the most exciting. But there's been a lot of races that we've fought hard and battled hard, and I've had a good time. So.
And that was a wild finish there at Road America as well. I mean, you were in the right place at the right time and took advantage. So, do you ride the Harley much?
It has 100 miles on it, so not too much.
Yeah. Maybe
I get nervous being around other cars and stuff, so every once in a while I just get on the back roads and take it easy. So I don't try to go too fast on there.
Probably pretty smart. Mr. J43 says he has a question for all the drivers. What was your guys' favorite or lucky number growing up racing?
I don't know about lucky number, but it's kind of funny that my dad, when he raced sprint cars, he was number 6, and so when I started racing go-karts, I just picked that number up, and I used 6 for a long time, and then when I went off to run for other people, that number changed and whatnot. But it's kind of cool that now we're back in the number 6 at Roush Fenway. So that's always been my kind of go-to number, really.
Mine was 7 growing up. I ran the number 7 for a long time, and kind of like him, as you move up, by the time I got into ASA, that number wasn't available, so I had to pick another one. Then I picked 29, and I liked that number for a while. And for me, I don't know about these guys, but once you get up to this level, you're just happy to be here. You don't really, for me, I don't really care what number's on the car. I'm just happy to be out there, and you could stick 1 through 99 on there, and I'm still going to be just as happy. So, growing up as a kid, you really care about that number, but once you get older and just, are fortunate enough to be here, that you really don't care quite as much.
Mine was 94. My grandpa owned some 3/4 midgets that he raced out on the West Coast, and I don't even know how he came about the number, but that was just the number he had on those. So when I started racing quarter midgets, that was the number my dad put on there, and we kind of kept that number until I was about 18 years old and started really driving for other people.
My number was number 2, actually, growing up in go-karts. And all the sports and stuff I played in high school. I was either number 2 or 22 growing up, so it's neat to kind of get back to being a number 2 car again this year. Kind of like what Ricky talked about. Sometimes you go full circle. So 2 was Kevin's number when he grew up racing at a very young age, and that's why he's had 2 the whole time in Nationwide Series. So it was neat when I was able to get back in the 2 car this year. It reminds me a lot of the go-karting stuff I did when I was a young chap.
So what are you in softball, 2 or 22?
22.
Okay. That's a better softball number, I think.
Well, somebody already had 2.
What, you couldn't buy it off of them?